Welcome back to another Under Pressure. Today we're looking at the Springfield Armory 1911 A1 Mil Spec. Now this is a replica of the 45 ACP version that Springfield has out right now. One of the best values in 1911s on the market. Now the 1911's been around for over 100 years, built by John Browning, a local Utah boy who is one of the greatest firearm design geniuses in the history of the world. Now it's still going strong, really popular on the civilian market with a lot of different variants, but the 1911 A1 Mil Spec means that this is designed according to the specifications for the military that they've had basically in some form or other from 1924 when it received the A1 designation up until 1986 when it was replaced by the Beretta 92 A1. Now this is still used by various special op forces and militaries around the world. It's still an incredibly good gun. Now what do we get with the CO2 version here? We've got the the 3-dot sights. These are non-adjustable, so it's just going to shoot how it shoots out of the box. We'll test and see how close they are, how accurate, how precise they are when we go to the range here. You have a grip safety here, so the gun will not fire until that is depressed. Functional just like the original here. You have your actual safety on this side, so when with the 1911, the safety doesn't engage until you have the hammer back. They're designed to be carried cocked and locked, and then it's absolutely safe here, even though it looks a little some people see that hammer back and get a little nervous, but that's how they're designed to be carried. We have the mag release button here. Drop that, the magazine drops free, so you can practice mag changes and so forth. Spare magazines are available on our website for about 30 bucks. Not super cheap, but pretty reasonable considering it contains all the valving and so forth. Now, the CO2 comes in just on one side. You can feel there's a little bit of a ridge there. So you put just a drop of Pel gun oil onto the top of your CO2 cartridge, and then you just insert it in like that. Use your included 1/4-inch Allen wrench to tighten it up. Tighten it until you hear it pierce and seal off completely so there's no gas leaking out. When you remove the CO2, which you'll want to do after each session, it's always a good idea to take it out and not leave it stored in there because that can be hard on the seals. What you'll want to do is remove it really slowly and just let that gas come out instead of just cranking it open and letting it fly out, because what happens is you've got this sort of white seal in there that's just a disc that slips up over the piercing nipple, and if you're not careful that can fly out. So what I prefer to do is leave the magazine in the gun and then start to bleed off the gas. That keeps everything contained and you don't have to worry about losing that. The BBs load up here. Now, these magazines are kind of a weird design in my opinion. The best way to load them up for me is to just take a piece of paper. I always have these little target things folding around. So I fold it in half this way and fold it like that, and then I can pour some BBs in there, and then I just use this as a funnel. Now this slide locks back there, but that's not very useful because then you just have to kind of like feed a BB in individually through here and jam it in, which is no fun. So what I do is just take that and pull that slide all the way back. You can see it opens up a little opening right there, and then I tilt the magazine down like this, and then I just kind of gently funnel some BBs in like that, and you can fill it up, pretty quickly and pretty easily that way to press your slide follower. Then I just have a little rare earth magnet that I pop on the side that keeps the BBs from rolling out. Pop it in, and you're ready to go. Now, one of the things that I really like in a replica is when it tears down just like the original, and this one does. Breaks down just like a 1911, so I'll show you how to do that. First, drop your magazine out, And now, okay, so I'll show you right here. There's this little, the slide lock has a kind of a protruding pin on this side. So I pull this back here, oh, take the safety off, pull this back, and then you line up the slide lock with that little divot there. It's not the one that holds the slide back right there, it's the one behind it. And with that lined up, I can push on this side, this sort of protruding pin of the slide lock, and just pull that out. And now the slide comes loose, comes free. Now I can remove the spring guide and spring here, take that out, remove the barrel bushing, and now the whole barrel comes out. At this point, I can lube the gun up, I can clean out, if it's got dust and dirt in there, and then and put it back together. I did an essentials video showing how to break this down and the parts that you want to lubricate, so I'll put the link in the description so you can check that out. Put it back together, same way, just in reverse. Put in the barrel, put in your barrel bushing, turn it to the side, and then like that. Put in our return spring here, and the guide rod, lock that into place, and now put this slide back on to the rails there. And then again, just line it up like that, pop in that, and you're back in business. Really easy, really simple, just like the real thing, so you can practice every aspect of it. So really, really nice. I really like that. Now, one other thing that you can change out here is the mainspring housing here. The 1911 A1 has an arched mainspring. I prefer a flat one, and I think a lot of other people do. You can punch out this pin and replace that if you want. It's probably not something that most people do, but I did punch out this pin and take out that housing, and it seems like a flat mainspring housing would be interchangeable from another 1911. So that's one other thing. With the gun all put together like this, it weighs 37 ounces, which is only 2 ounces different from the firearm version. So again, overall, you're getting extremely accurate replica handling feel and so forth here. So let's go ahead and take it to the range. We'll do some shooting, we'll get some accuracy testing with a few different projectiles, and we'll get some chronograph readings also. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys to death shooting a full shot string here. I did do that for the definitive guide. You can check out that over at airgundepot.com. But to boil it down for you, got 72 shots, which is 4 magazines, and it was really ended about 200 feet per second, pretty close to that. Started out at 309, so pretty decent, shot capacity considering you're getting pretty hefty blowback here. Now, today I'm just going to do a single magazine. I've got 18 of the Daisy Premium BBs loaded up, fresh cartridge, and we'll send it downrange and see how how the velocity looks. Now, if we disregard that first shot, then we had a spread of 35 feet per second with a max of 310 feet per second and a minimum of 275 per second. I'm going to try out 3 different types of ammunition in the Springfield 1911. I've got the Daisy Premium BBs here. This is their standard line of BBs. I've got the Hornady Black Diamond, which tend to be very accurate in a lot of different BB guns, and I've got the H&N Smart Shot, which is a copper-coated lead BB that acts more like a pellet instead of ricocheting back at you like a steel BB does. These tend to just kind of fall down and absorb all their energy that way. So they're great if you're shooting at steel targets or other things like that. We've got a target set down at 7 yards, which is a good range for BB guns. 10 yards is basically kind of the max, especially for a gun like this where it's not shooting it really fast. And 7 yards is still plenty of distance to give you the feel for like a self-defense situation if you're using this as a trainer. Now I've got 10 BBs loaded up in the magazine here. We're starting out with the Daisy Premiums, and we'll shoot it down and see how it goes here. put on my glasses with the, with my high-tech eye shade here. I'm going to shoot rested and see how we do. And that's 10. Now I've got 10 Hornady Black Diamond BBs loaded up. Again, target down at 7 yards. And there's 10. Now I've got 10 of the H&N Smart Shot BBs loaded up. Again, targets at 7 yards. And there's 10. Now let's take a look at these targets here. Again, everything was shot at 7 yards. This is 10 Daisy Premium BBs. Now 9 out of the 10 went in just a hair over an inch. This other one, I don't know what happened there, but it opened it up to an inch and 1.86 inches there. So really pretty darn good accuracy with one flyer. Now the Hornady Black Diamonds, again, this is 10. Again, I had one flyer. Now this could easily be me, or it could be the gun, I don't know. But I didn't call either of these flyers. 9 out of 10 here went in 0.65 inches, with this one opening it up to 1.42 inches. So really, really good accuracy, a nice round group there. You'll notice that both of these groups at 7 yards are a little bit high, and they are also a bit to the left. Now the last one was the H&N Smart Shot BBs. 10 out of these went into 1.42 inches. Not as tight a group, but overall about the same size as the other ones with the flyer here. Now I did shoot some other targets with the same projectiles a few days ago when I was writing up the definitive guide. If you want to get all the details, you can go to airgundepot.com, open up the vault, and read the definitive guide that I've done there. But I'll just show you the groups that I shot from that to give you a little bit of a comparison here. Now this is the Daisy Premium BBs, same BB as we shot there. I think that it's stringing a little bit here because I was kind of towards the end of a cartridge, but that was about 2 inches from top to bottom. Now these were with the Hornady Black Diamond BBs, 9 out of 10 in 0.84 inches. This one, I have no idea what happened there, but opened it up quite a bit there. But a nice tight group with most of them there. Now this is the H&N Smart Shot BBs. I mean, we've got, about 6 of them in a quarter of an inch almost. And overall the group is, 1.46 inches. So pretty good accuracy out of a BB pistol like this. And what the important thing is here is that it's accurate enough that when you're training and so forth, you can get real life feedback on how you're shooting, on how consistent you are, and so forth. So and that's what you want. Plus out to 5, 10, 15 yards, it'll knock cans around the yard just fine. Now the trigger on this gun breaks at about 5.5 pounds, which is about standard for what you're going to get with a firearm. Springfield Armory 1911s are known for having a little bit heavier triggers. This one's kind of on the low middle range of that. So, but a really nice trigger, nice and crisp. The reset, the reset is basically the full trigger pull. So you don't have a short reset where you can grab it. One thing that I always like to point out whenever we're talking about CO2 guns is that CO2 is highly temperature sensitive. It's a refrigerant gas, meaning that as the pressure decreases, it gets colder. And so as you're firing, that CO2 is going to get colder and colder, and it's going to lose pressure, and your velocity is going to drop. Ideal temperatures for shooting CO2 are maybe 70 degrees and up. 60 degrees is also fine, but when you start getting under 60 degrees, you're going to see a real decrease in performance. And if it's really cold outside, the gun's just going to freeze up. So keep that in mind. If you're buying this for a Christmas present, you're not going to want to take it outside Christmas morning and shoot it in the snow, or at least not for very long. Now, one thing that my son and I do is we'll hang up sheets or light blankets at different points of the house, pin targets to them, get our eye protection on and so forth, and just go through and set up different stages in the house and shoot targets on the sheets and so forth, and that works just fine. BBs just fall straight down, and you can pick them up afterwards, and he loves it. He'll do that for hours and hours. So. Overall, there's a lot to like about this pistol. Feels really well made. It's functioned flawlessly, tears down like the original. The trigger's really nice. All the controls work perfectly. Now, there are a few things I don't like about the pistol. One of the main ones is that funky loading system that's just not really convenient. Again, if you do it the way I showed you, it's really not an issue. It works pretty well. The other one is that little white seal, for the CO2 cartridge. I've lost those in the past, and it's just a real pain. But again, if you do it the way I show you, then you shouldn't have any problems there either. You've got the white lettering on the side in a few spots, but it's pretty subtle and a lot better than other CO2 pistols on the market. So all in all, I wholeheartly recommend this one. So really, to pick up a $100 trainer is a no-brainer. And whether you're using it as a trainer or just plinking around in the house in the backyard, this is an excellent gun. I recommend it, and you should pick one up today. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this review. Hopefully it's been informative and helpful to you. If you've liked it, then please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure and check us out on our other social media platforms. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.